This Vajra armor. Vajra armor is too close. Okay. This Vajra armor. Okay. Everybody can hear, right? Vajra armor. Answer if you can hear. Just say yes. Everybody can hear, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Rinpoche.
Okay, good. Answer good. If you can hear. Just say yes. Everybody can hear, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Rinpoche.
Okay, answer if you can hear. Just say yes. Everybody can hear, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Rinpoche.
This one, it's repeating. Why it is repeating?
Yes, we can hear you, Rinpoche.
Why this background sound is repeating? It's repeating. Why it is repeating? Why this background sound? So looks like there's some problem in the internet. That Malay answer my question, then that is repeating in behind. I don't know what is happening. Looks like there's some problem in the internet. But Malay answer my question, then that is repeating in behind. And then a little bit late too.
The YouTube is repeating.
Malay answer my question. So YouTube. And then a little bit late too.
The YouTube is repeating.
Okay. So we'll begin with this prayer to Manjushri. Okay. Lama dangongo jambalayang la chansa Pange londe jinyen jinja nidra namda rasa Jinyen dengen jijin zija Nijin dugara lepam Konda zebe zendor mare mendom dungar jizir Rozo kumla puji taze yanla duje yanden Dudre jendro nyemo nyelon leje chadro doze Mare menze domar nyugo jinyen junze roden Denen dajin saji tazen yenden lizo jase tuwe Chudan chudan chunyin jinde dale menze jambe yangla endi Marabazana de 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 Umara Bhajana de Mara 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 Bhajana Umara Bhajana de Mara 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 Bhajana Umara Bhajana de Mara 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 Umara Bhajana de Zeden Jeje Chenra Vezerenje Dale Demo Membaramza Kadan denje jonglo tobai loje pobe nawa sandu Kadan denje jonglo redan jimbur jangdo tejando majega Polo Jinji Jabija Jindo, Jima Mebala, Guera de Bozumbuba, Jimbo Nanchan, the Jinja Chu, Shiwan and Zera Danjelu, Tuji, Jesus, and Berzeduso, Conditions on the Eming, Bezos and Benodash, Sembezes and Dumberendo can make in the Zenjur, Jidama, Kunaj, and Jidensum Jekonja Bed, one Begonker Beja Bed, Rinda, Sembezes and Dumber, Javin Nandoranjan, Judo, Kenzu Chomber. Pemanjunen dale yinzo Bolo Dorian Devada, Tomanian Cholan Jida, Jujun Shannon Bozo, Zonin Jinjo Nanjenda on the Togar and Jin in the Jungo Vishazar do business, Baby Nanjaraba. Jimmy Visit Jagenda Ajon, the Donjan Version and Janale, Bombilon Lepo Betel Jedro, Nanjango. Mibom Jambi Yonji Dai Jon, Amonguro, Jimmy Bomen, Jizala Kunjaran Jundu Jijin, Jikala Comendanawa, Walden Lami Jajenda Jon, Kongitala Rivalobadan, the Gitin Jemima, so the Umbrishanabi. Nigi Jinjin Lamenda Jon, Yende Sanje Kundanya, Kadin Sanje Kunela Big Grand, Sarina Michela Swande. Nazondo ju tolwara shinji lo ondo ju dongi jidena de shelo marjurba konsoda tinje bandi ju jinchar bebe sember deva dada andir shi namaya damba laike danlo danne jenge lubanda dame genanda roa kunjinda namji zambar kamje gedu sosuru tejur Majurundua Nankadanyam Basin Jen Hamje, Namdro Denji Deval, Anamaka, Yando Zobi Sanji Chinkuan Burchilla. Chine Jam Gubrasha, the Chedu, Chanju Simbi Jubal and Juba, Position Shivala, the Nijin Zebate, Solution Senne, Nyamsulan Jo, Nyamdo, Samba Chanju Chodo, Tujaba Nachi, Sen's house. So now, kind of like a first, they're trying to having a right intention of engaging into this meritorious activity of listening Dharma teaching. So in order to have a right intention, that we need to generate this awakened mind in this way, that thinking start from the one's dearest, or like one's the great kindfulness, which is one's own mother, and so on, and trying to have a sense, that same sense to each and every sentient being equal to the space, and in order to lead them to complete enlightenment, for that purpose, and I'm going to listen this Bodhicārayavatāra, which is composed by Shanti Deva, and then whatsoever I understand, I will try my best to put into practice, or I will try my best to implement it. So with that kind of intention, listen this teaching, and then the manner or the conduct while listening Dharma teaching, we need to modify it in this way, that as always Shakyamuni Buddha, that whenever he gave some teaching or advice, he always began with those that listen carefully, listen carefully in an excellent way, and then hold it, as I always say, that what is said in a sutra by Shakyamuni Buddha, listen carefully in an excellent way, and then try to hold it, the meaning of teaching, and then also if you are capable to hold or memorize, then also the words, that which is describing those meaning. But if one is incapable to memorize those words, then maybe we should memorize those meaning, try to hold those meaning. And then sometimes, and that this is also sometimes, it depends. For instance, for myself, there's some interesting meaning. And then in order to kind of like keep it that meaning infirm within one's self, then we need to catch up that words which is describing exactly the meaning which is feeling suitable for oneself. And sometimes we need to do that as well, that whenever we find some thing that which is thinking that it is very much going to suitable for oneself, then might try to memorize that the specific stanza, and doing that way it's also the good to how to say that the purpose of the listening Dharma teachings, that as the Shakyamuni Buddha is saying, try to hold it. So hold it means now meaning and then the words. That's what it is talking about. Anyway, so that's how, that's the process of preparations to listen Dharma teachings. And then the actual Dharma teachings that we are the kind of like the sharing this teaching, which is composed by Shantideva, the Bodhicārayavatāra, which has a 10 chapter and 4 themes. And the first theme, it's about how to have that precious bodhicitta or the bodhisattva's vow within oneself, that which is something kind of like the very potential or beneficial for many purpose, multi-purpose. By just having this bodhicitta within oneself, then it can be kind of like purified so many of our negativities that in the past, whatever we done, it can be kind of like recover or the purified, and then so on. It is also can how to say fulfill our wishes. So therefore, sometimes the Buddha in the sutras, they named this bodhicitta as a gem. Why? Because it can be fulfill one's wishes too. Therefore, it is also named as a gem. Like that kind of things, that multi-potential or the multi-beneficial is there by just kind of like letting arising this bodhicitta within oneself, and then top of it, then kind of like receiving bodhisattva's vow and maintaining vow. Absolutely, it goes without saying. So the first theme is the how to generate bodhicitta within oneself, and then the how to receive bodhisattva's vow within oneself. And then the second theme is the after we complete the ritual, after we complete the receive bodhisattva's vow with its own ritual or ceremony, whatsoever we call, and then in order not to let it break or transgress it, then in order to maintain properly, then the second theme is the kind of like the carefulness and vigilant introspection, and then the patience. And these are the main 3 key points that which we need in order to maintain our what do you call it, in order to maintain the bodhisattva's vow which we received. And then kind of like so among the 3 key points in order to maintain the bodhisattva's vow within oneself, we completed first and second one. So now we are here in the third one, which is the patient. That is so necessary. Among these 3 key points, And this is the one thing that which can destroy our bodhisattvas wow or the bodhicitta very easily, kind of like a one single instant of anger. It is the kind of when we generate the single moment of anger towards someone at that very moment, and we might feeling or we might think that, oh, from now on I will not going to help this particular person or this particular the how to say male or female, whoever causing problem to oneself. When we generate the anger at that very moment, we may think in this way. So once that kind of thing is generated, and it is kind of like we are losing this aspiration bodhicitta. So when someone doesn't have an aspiration bodhicitta, then application bodhicitta is very far. There's impossible to have it. So that breaks the completely bodhisattva's vow from its kind of like a root. So therefore, this third one, the patient, yes, at the same time, it is not something easy. That is also understandable. It is not easy for sure, because it is also in Buddha himself, he is also mentioned in a sutra, as well as many great masters in the past, those in many different scriptures. The patient is the most difficultiest practice among the Dharma practice. So, so that it is not easy, yet on the other hand, it is so kind of like if we don't practice it, if we just let it, our anger arise, just like let it be in it's kind of like we just say natural, or actually it's not natural, but that's the word we normally use. If we just let it be in a natural, just let it anger, then that anger can destroy so many of our merit. At the very first stanza of this 6th chapter, that very first stanza, that is also actually good to memorize, that first stanza, that how it is describing the fault of anger. And this is the one important stanza among this 6th chapter. And then as well as this 11th chapter, that 11th chapter, which is introducing the which is kind of like helping us to recognize that during what kind of situations that led us anger by those conditions, mainly the 4 conditions. So that kind of like this kind of some point, if oneself is unable to memorize, yes, it is definitely, this is memorize all of those is very challenging, difficult, but some those key stanzas that it is very good to try to memorize it, then that one can have a main point of the chapter, that we can have it. So when we have this main point of the chapter, then the whole this chapter, what it is really looking for is to how to control the anger and hate it. That's the main purpose of this whole chapter. How to deal with this emotion. Then there's a many different ideas, skills, methods are kind of like showing again and again, because the kind of like some idea may suitable for one person but not for the others, and then for the others we need different ideas, so therefore there's a different ideas. But the bottom line is to how to say, able to reduce or get rid of or able to control our this anger emotion. That's the whole purpose of this 6th chapter. And then the kind of like getting anger is not only it will transgress our bodhisattvas, not only that, generally getting anger that itself is actually ruining whole our normal life as well. That it will going to ruin our relationship, it can ruin our livelihood, it can ruin our health, it can ruin our day, it can ruin our sleep, like that. This one single, the anger not only disturbs with the Bodhisattva's vow, but also it is disturbs with the day-to-day life. Therefore, this kind of like a patience is very important for absolutely for the person who is trying to kind of like implement the Mahayana path, which is Bodhisattva's way of life. And not just that, also the person who wants to live success, happy, peaceful life. And this kind of method is also very crucial, very necessary as well. So anyway, so this is I'm just kind of like a little bit on a side topic. And then now today that we are here in the stanza 42, isn't it? Stanza 42, yes. So the stanza 42, as I described you the yesterday, that the what do you call it? This all right now, this all stanza from stanza number 34 to stanza 51. So that all this stanza, mainly the skills or the method or the idea, what it is providing is to how to practice patience, like the what do you call it? That the patience of not caring about harmers, the patience of not caring about harmers. How to do that when someone harms us, when someone's really harm physically and mentally both. And at that moment, how one can control our this anger emotions. And that is now, it is mainly here, it is describing this point. So until this kind of like the 34 stanza to 41 stanza that yesterday we completed. Until here, Shantideva showed the 3 different skills and how to practice the patience of not caring about harmers. That all these 3, and especially first and second, is very rational. It is not in order to how to say accept those ideas. We don't really need any background, just a human being. This is all humanity. This is all common sense. Kind of like we don't need any background of any religious. It is very common way giving idea to just being a human who have a human intelligence. It can make sense. It makes sense. All these 3 idea, especially the first and second ideas. And then now from here, and then he is also providing some other skills and method. They're from stanza 42, and then until this stanza what do you call it? The 51, until 51. So these are now, in order to understand this teaching, then these all ideas are, he is given based on some background already. So he is giving this all ideas, the person who have this basic understanding of law of causality. So this idea, the person who doesn't have a basic foundation understanding of law of causality or the karma, how karma works, and then if person doesn't have this idea, then these all skills may not so helpful. And these from now on, he is providing another four ideas, another four skill how to deal with the patient of not carrying hungers. So that those four ideas, they starting from stanza 42, that is now he is providing, as I said earlier, that based on a person who have this background or foundation, that especially the who understand the law of causality, the karma, and based on that kind of like a foundation, and then you have to listen, and you have to look all these ideas or teaching, you have to understand. If you don't look this all idea based on this foundation, then this some of this idea may not really kind of like a rational. So therefore, that first you just need to understand this before we start from this stanza 42. So, and then the actual teaching here, 42 stanza, what it is said, Dagi ngenche semjen la dindrawai nebache, dewe semjen tsecheba dala neba ti chung rik. Dei tsendang dagi lu niga dungal gyuyinde, dei tsen dagi lu chungna gangshik lani towar sha, shuwa mi sukdrawa rektu misu dungal chen, se dong dagi sungyurna dela neba sula tos. That's one skill or the one idea. So, which means that first let me read in the books how they translate it. In just the same way in the past, it was who injured living beings. Therefore, it is right that injury should come to me, their torturer. So you see, this is now all talking based on that, assuming that the listener have this background or foundation of understanding law of causality, the karma. And then also next stanza is, their weapons and my body, both are cause of my torment. Is the fact it is both. It is not one-sided. Even though if they kind of like throw out some weapons, or if they shoot the gun, if you don't have body, then there's nothing to penetrate. There's a body. You from your side, you prepare body, and from their side, they prepare weapon, and then they shoot the gun, or they stab, or they kind of like whatever, throw the stone or whatsoever. So this is now here, look, their weapons and my body, both are cause of my torment. Yeah, both are cause of my torment. That's why we suffer, we feel pain. They, their weapons, I, my body, brandished. Then who then is more worthy of my rage? Now, this is something that when people have that understand the law of causality, then these ideas make sense. Otherwise, this idea doesn't make sense, because you don't believe that your own body is created by karma to suffer, for purpose of to suffer in this, stay in this cycle existence, and then you already kind of like created some cause of suffer for oneself. So without having that kind of background or foundation, and then as I already said earlier, it doesn't really make sense. For the common, I think, for the common people who doesn't have this background, kind of like how to say, that's normal people, then if these ideas doesn't really work, I think. And then this body running sore in human form, merely touched, it cannot stand the pain. I am the one who grasped it in my blind attachment. Yeah, now you see, this is all talking about, because of this my blind attachment or the ignorant, I rebirth, I born again in this samsara. So whom should I resent when pain occurs? Now, kind of like this is the really one idea. So this is, I told you already, based on having that kind of like a foundation. If you listen this teaching based on this foundation, then that's really makes sense. That that the even Buddha himself and Lord, many other great masters that we have oftenly saying that the Jigten Natso Lele case, that all this different worlds are happened because of different karmas, because of karma. So, and then also particularly what Shakyamuni Buddha said was that Semchen namni leji jule chunga, leji cheba, leji jule chunga, leji rabdu yewaos. That what it means, that even particularly those sentient beings in the world are created by karma, and then karma is the cause of sentient beings, and then the different level or the classes of sentient beings are also differentiated by the different stage of karma, different level of karma. Yes, that we studied, right? Karma has many different levels. Like a good karma has a kind of like a great, mediocre, inferior. And then bad karma also has the same three levels: great, mediocre, and inferior, or the less. So this, within a good, there's a three. Within a bad, there's a three. Therefore, we have 6 realms. The 6 realms, 3 of them are basic. Generally, it is the result of good karma. And then another 3 of those cyclic existence realms are the result of bad, generally. And then now among the 3, why it's a different, that kind of like let's say in a general, hell is worse than the rest of other 2, and then the pretas is worse than better than hell but worse than animal, and then animal is the kind of like a lowest, or the lowest, kind of like the greatest in the lower realm, among the lower realm. When this is all the good, bad, great, mediocre, the inferior, these are all comparative. All the time it is comparative. It is all we named based on a comparing with someone, something else, or someone else. Without comparing with someone else, there's no level at all. So that's how that in general, this is, I'm just talking very brief, that how this we believe in karma, how karma created this world and sentient beings, and then particularly the 6 different level of sentient beings, how it happens, because karma has those good and bad, and then both good and bad has 3 levels, 3 stages. So therefore, and result also has a good and bad, and then within a good there's a 3 stage, within a bad there's a 3 stage or 3 levels as well. So, and then this is very general, and then particularly also what we believe, that whatever the happening within oneself, it is whole completely one's the how to say, it is whole complete responsible by oneself. There's no any other responsible for my difficulties and my problems. That whatever I am facing problem, whatever I am facing difficulties, pain, it is all because I created. It is all behind. I have a responsibilities. There's nobody else. Then the other than oneself, the in general, yes, other than oneself can become conditions, but not the cause at all. But when we go deep, and then we believe that whole 100% has a responsible for oneself, that we cannot blame on others at all. And that kind of understanding, based on having that kind of understanding, and then this, if you look into this, how it is saying that the I, that the kind of like a who, in just the same way in the past, it was who injured living beings. I disturbed them. I created problem to them. Therefore, that it is right that injury should come to me, their torturer. So this they translated in this way, that in Tibetan what we have here, like in the past, yes, before, kind of like this Dendrawai Nebache means that right now what you are experiencing, the difficult, that exactly the same difficulty you created to them before. If you didn't ever create it same this what you have experienced right now to other, then this experience will not going to be happen. That's what we kind of have this firm, the kind of like firm, confident, that firm confident, that what it is saying, Dindrawai Nebache, that right now what I am experiencing, whatsoever the difficult or pain or ill or whatsoever, that means the result is showing the sign that I committed that before to someone, that I give it this kind of difficult. I gave this difficult to others. Therefore, it is coming back to me. So therefore, right now that I am getting this harm from others. If that the case, that right now, whatever I am experiencing the harm or difficult, it is worth, it is deserved. It is saying, means I deserve this pain or I deserve these difficulties. So that kind of thinking. Now, isn't it when we accept in this way, and this will definitely help us to practice this patience of not caring about harmers. Yes, this is exactly doing it. And then now actually this idea kind of like the more or less that general, that people who believing in law of causality, the general people who are believing in law of causalities, they all have that idea, and this idea really helping to reduce at that very moment the difficulties as well. It is not just helping us to able to practice the patience of not carrying harmers, but it also at the same time also helps to reduce our difficulties, the experience of difficulties or the sense of difficulties. Because then when people have that kind of mental set, and that can really helps to reduce our mental difficulty. Physical pain is already there because it was already created by someone. Someone already harmed to you. You already get wounded, or you already get, I don't know what to say, that wound. Yeah, you already get wound, or you already get whatsoever pain. The physical pain is there. And normally people who doesn't have that kind of sense, with that physical pain, and there will going to be the mental pain similar together with this pain. And then the person, on the other hand, the person who have this kind of idea, oh, that whatever I am experiencing, that's definitely the same pain that I did to that person who harmed me right now. When we have that kind of sense, it definitely helps. That is, I can say 100%, based on my own experience too, that I can definitely say this. But I'm not also saying, I'm not saying this is just easy to kind of apply it. Yeah, sometimes we lost our control. But when we able to kind of like they trigger our memory, this idea, then at that moment really helps to the kind of like reduce this our mental difficulties or the mental pain. Dewe simjin se jiba tedan dala neba ti chung riks. Deyi chundan dagi lu, niga dungal gyuyin de te chundagi lu chung na kangshilan tuwar shaas. Now, it is kind of like he's, the Shanti Deva is asking question. The question with the saying, some sort of like that to which you will going to choose to get anger. Means the object, that both this object or both this condition is the source or the cause of your problem. Now, which one you will going to choose to get rage or get anger? Your body or their harm through the weapons? Their harm through the weapons. That they kind of like a hit or throw or kind of like the what do you call shoot or whatsoever we call that they use the weapon to hit on our physical, and then that's as I just earlier said, it is really truth that if I don't have this body, and then if someone wants to shoot to Tokugawa, to where he shoot, there's nothing to pinpoint or there's nothing to point to that person can shoot, even though he have that anger. He cannot do anything if I don't have this body. And then that now this body is something that this body is the also what it is meant saying, this body is also another condition that which let us experience the pain. So therefore, which one you will going to choose to get anger? Their harm action with their weapons, or that the subject which is your body, that which is getting the harm, which is getting the harm? Which one you will going to choose? That's what it means. Now, this is kind of like a Shantideva was letting us choose. It kind of like directly he's giving some options. Looks like he's kind of like giving option which one you will going to choose to get anger. That indirectly saying it is useless to get anger. There's no point to get anger. Yeah, we will going to say we will not going to anger oneself. We will going to anger to the other person that who is causing harm or using weapon and then trying to penetrate or trying to hit on me. That definitely in normal people, they will going to say very easily, why I have to anger? I did nothing. I did nothing, so I don't need to anger to my body. My body is here, so what? Maybe people will going to say instead, my body is there, so what? It does not mean you can harm. We will say that. But actually, since you established this, your body, means you made an object to someone to hit on, someone to create problem on myself. For instance, that I created this body, that I established this body. Now, I also at the same time, I also establish the object that someone can kind of like hit and disturb and harm as well. It is both-sided, not only harm, but here mainly we're talking about that one. And then likewise, Shua mi sudawa rektu misu dungalchen se don dake sungjuna tela neva sula tos. The next stanza is now really showing that main cause of this body. This body is like that. It is also saying, and this body running source in human form, merely touched. That's how they translate it. And what I feel like, this sure me Sugdawa, this translation, I don't know how it can be understood, but what I feel is maybe it's better in this way. Human body, it's like a abscess. Is it abscess? Abscess is kind of disease, right? Yeah, abscess, which is kind of like a very innocent or very sensitive disease that you can't bear at all merely by touching, right? So that is the Shua, the name of the disease, the Shua in Tibetan, Shua. So I think in English they translate it like a sore, right? Sore and abscess, same.
And abscess is putrid smelling, losing sore that never heals.
So sore and abscess are very similar.
Abscess is a specific name for an injury.
Yeah, that actually the Shua means the name of the disease, that one type of disease, that which is like an abscess or the sore. Yeah, it is sore also, maybe because it is very kind of like a painful disease, right? So the abscess, I think directly is abscess. This human body is like an abscess. The Shua mi Sugdawa, recto mizut dungalchen, that merely touched, that it cannot stain the pain. That no, that this is sometimes this is really truth. Even some people that they don't need to touch to the body, just eye gaze, that's enough to feel pain. If you improper eye gaze to them, they will feel pain. Sometimes not necessary even touch, right? It is more kind of like a sensitive than the abscess disease. So people who have an abscess disease, at least by gaze, they may not feel pain. Anyway, so rek du misyo dungalchen, sedon dage sunjurne, that kind of the body, that body is like an abscess. This is something sedon dage sunjurne, that I hold it, or I grasp it, or I create it out of my desire, attachment, and then out of my ignorance. Say dong is ignorant. Out of my ignorance, out of my attachment, and I grasped it and I hold it and I created this body, which is like an abscess disease. And then someone kind of like merely by just touching and kind of like a feeling harm and pain, never. So sulato, now to whom you will going to get anger? To your own abscess disease, which is the one greatest condition of your pain, or the person who is just touching on it. So this is one idea that the Shantideva is saying, that this is based on a law of causality for foundation, but not talking about the future life. It is just talking about the within this life, that all the suffering, pain, whatever we experiencing, it is all because of our own creation. I did similar that what I am experiencing right now to someone before. Therefore, right now, I am experiencing this, whether whatsoever pain or kind of like difficulties. And then now, next, the next one is Chiba dungal midojing, dungal gyula kambena, rangi nyepe nejurba, shenla kwendu chishi yus. Perna nyalwi sumada, ralti lomi naksaltar, rangi leki dikena, kangshiklani toare shas. So now here, another idea is, we who are like a children shrink from pain but loves its cause. We hurt ourselves through our misdeeds. So why should other be the object of our rage? With the question mark. Yeah, this is kind of like a question asking. The Shantideva is kind of like a tricky question. This is tricky question. Just in a one hand, it looks like he's asking question, but indirectly he's saying, no, there's no point. The answer is already there almost. You don't need to answer. He's just kind of like this is tricky question. And who indeed should I be angry with? This pain is all my own contriving. Likewise, all the genitors of hell and all the groves of Rajor trees. So you see, this is very interesting one, that this idea really definitely it helps to how to practice the patience of not carrying harmers when we get harm from others. That what it is saying, that the chiba is actually directly, literally children, as how they translate it. But here this children not refers to the children who are very young age. It is not about that. This chiba, children in a dharma terms, when we use the children, chiba, means who are ignorant, who doesn't know that the cause of the problem is within oneself. The cause of problem is one's own emotion. That person, regardless whether even that person is 80, 90 years old, but if the person doesn't understand the cause, the fact, the genuine cause of problem, that is belongs to category of the children. So that's you need to understand here. When in a dharma terms, when they use children, means children are very good example that we can easily understand how they are very ignorant, right? They feel, for instance, if I just talk very nonsense one, some children, I have heard many histories, and then some children, they feel and they have full of confidence that they can get into their toy car, which is impossible from adult point of view, absolutely. But that children, the young kid, kind of like I have heard that that's one kid, the how to say it, to the kind of like a yelling on mother and asking. And then one day that person, he really listened carefully what the really children asking, and then children asking, Mom, can you let me go into the car of that, which is Troy, actually his own Troy car. Mom, let me get into the car. And then now what to say? There's nothing to say, right? That's how ignorant children are, that from our adult point of view. Now the similar way, those who are kind of like those arahat, those bodhisattvas, and then they're looking us in the same way. We are like a children to them. So that they looking us, they seeing us like a children, that kind of like what to say, we are ignorant, that we are unable to understand or see really true cause of the problem. That's why chiba. Okay, anyway, so I'm just going so much here. So the chiba means children, which that is means, okay, this is not depend on an age, this depend on your intelligence and your wisdom. Chiba dungal midujings, that the children's naturally, yes, this is something they don't desire or they don't want suffer, but yet on the other hand they kind of like a covetousness, they covetate to the cause of problem, they covetous, or they kind of like attached. They attached or they covetous to the cause of suffering, but they think this is not the cause of suffering. That's the one it's talking about. Dungal jula kambena. So since that you yourself attached to the cause, this cause of suffering, then definitely you will going to get these consequences of that cause of suffering, which means result is suffering or the harm. Rangi nyepe nejurba. Because of one's own fault, once get harm. And when you get harm because of your own fault, then why you, how to say, the how and why, that how it is worth, and how to say, how it is proper to get anger to others. That's what it is saying. Shenla kundu chishi years. And then our second stanza is to kind of like make it more clear that Shantideva using the example. For example, perna, nyavi sumada. For example, all those, the kind of like here they wrote it, janitors of hells, like a god of hells, those being who are employee in a hell. Huh? Maintenance men, yeah, who are maintaining the hell. Okay, the person who are maintaining or guarding or employee in a hell. So the employer of hell has to take care of hell, which means that whatever supposed to do in a hell, they must do it. So that that all those, the protector of hell or the janitors of hell, and then as well as the substance in a hell, those razor trees and then groves and all those raldi lomi naksaltar. And these are all rangi leki dikenas. This is all are possible to happen out of one's own karma, rangi leki dikenas. Kangshiklani towards, so it is not worth and proper to anger towards those janitors of hell, and then the substance in the hell like groves and razor of trees. It is not kind of like a proper or the worth to get anger towards those subjects, since you created already to experience all those, to go into there. Some sort of like a, you just voluntarily went there, and there's nobody that you can blame on now. So this is what it is really saying. So when we have, this is all I told you earlier already. So that's, but this is this 44, 5 and 46 is the another one idea that Shantideva was providing. If you think in this way, the thinking in this way is also help us to able to practice the patience of not caring about harmers. And then the next one, dagi luki kulchene dala neje nam chungdes. Then semjen nyal torna dagi teda mala gams. Dida ni tenchene sebe dadi mandu jang. Dala tene tedagi tedani yurin dunga nyalwar dong. Dani tela neje la teda dala pendona. Chinji lotu chi ichir marong semje towar shes, with this 3 stanza, showing the another one kind of like a skills or the method to think and then control one's anger. That those, the stanza 47, right? Is it stanza 47? Yeah, those who harm me, okay, those who harm me, raise against me. It is my karma that has summoned them. And if through this, these beings go to hell, is it not I who bring their ruin? Actually, now it is saying, look, so that the the problem which is I am facing by getting harmed by others. That getting harmed by others. So actually, I became conditioned to get anger that person, that particular person who is trying to harming to me. So isn't it, this is now it is saying, isn't it, I am making mistake here, and then I am ruining his future life, and I am ruining his life and future life as well. I already did it something, some kind of like a yeah, that this my body, this why this my very body is the kind of like a kul is like a, actually kul is normally request. This how Shantideva was saying, this my really body requested to him to harm to me. Dagi karsugure dalan nejenam jundes. I requested, I made it some sort of like, and then those harm, that harming from others, it has happened because of I requested. So if you think this way, then tena semchenyal tena teni semchenyal donas, by requesting in this way to other to harm to you, isn't it you are making them to fall into the hell because they get anger because of me? And that if I am letting that person to fall into the hell, then dagiteta malagam. Instead of he harming me, actually, isn't it I harmed back to letting him harm me? This is something interesting, isn't it? So isn't it I harmed him by letting him harm me, harm to me? Because I requested to that person to harm me. This is really interesting. And then next stanza is the because of them and through my patience, all my many sins are cleansed and purified, but they will be the ones who thanks to me will have the long drawn agonies of hell. Agonies of hell. So now here, what do you call it? Didalani tenchenes, based on them, that person who is harmed, who cause, who act some harmful actions to me, who disturbed me, who create some problem to me. And then based on them, that if I am able to practice patience, then that my single practice patience can be cleansed and purified my own many negative karmas. Many negative karmas can be purified or cleansed. So therefore, isn't it that enemy or the person who is causing problem for me, if I am able to practice patience, isn't it he is doing some favor to me? But on the other hand, but on the other hand, because of me, that he, based on me, that he created problems to me, or he harmed it by with his own kind of like an anger emotion. So since that with the anger emotions causing harm to me, that becomes very great deal of bad negative karma for themselves. So that can becomes the cause and condition for them to kind of like fall in a lower realms, in a hell, particularly hell, and torments, experience the torments in a kind of like a very long time. So isn't it I kind of like pushed them into the hell. They helped me to purify my negative karma, and then I, how to say, make them to create negative karma to fall it down, isn't it? So this is what it is talking about. And then the next stanza, therefore I am their tormentor. You see, therefore I am their tormentor. Therefore it is they who bring me benefit. Yes, is it? And thus with what perversity, perversity, is it perversity? Perversity, pernicious mind, will you be angry with your enemies? So, Dani tela nyoshela, te dala pendona, chinjilo to chicher manu semje towards cheese. Then the fact is that when someone causes harm or problem to oneself, the genuine ultimate fact is that I kind of like created problems to them. They created benefit to me. That is true fact or ultimate genuine. And then, so understand that true ultimate, the fact, and then why kind of like the perversity, right? Why you perceive as a perversity, isn't it? Perceive as a perversity or treating as a perversity. Perversity. Opposite. Attitude of mind. It is chinjilok in Tibetan. Chinjilok. Chinjilok means the wrong way, or the opposite. That when someone helps you, you need to help, right? When someone helps, if you harm, then that's kind of like a wrong, how to say, opposite, or the what you call it, wrong, what I said, wrong action. So this is what it is talking about. Chinji lok to chi. Why you kind of like why you how to say, why you getting back in a wrong way to, why you getting wrong way back to the person who harmed you. Marung semche torches, that this is something really improper. That's what it means. Marung means that marungpa in Tibetan. Marungpa means something very improper. That the fact is that we harmed them by, okay, so we need to understand this way. When someone harms me, the genuine true fact is I harmed them. They helped me. So they helped me. How? If I able to practice patience, then it can kind of like a purified and cleanse the many my negative actions by just experiencing that one moment of difficult, and then taking it, accepting it with the patience. And not, okay, so this is also this is important to understand. Not merely experience that difficult and then you purify it, cleanse your negativity. No, this is not possible. Okay, so you experiencing that difficult, but at the same time you are not letting arise anger towards that particular person. When you able to do that, that is the action which is talking about here. That is the exactly action can cleanse and purify the many of our negative actions. Otherwise, if you just take it, their harm, and then experience that difficulties without kind of like a patient and just like in a very neutral way, then what it does, it can purify your one negative karma. This is it, not many negative karma. you will be able to cleanse and purify many negative karmas when you, at the same time, when you're able to apply the patience. And then even if you could, feeling a loving kindness and compassion towards that person. Because with that sense, you see, this is also another important in Mahayana method, that the kind of like a many great Mahayana teachers saying, when someone caused you harm, rather than angry, actually you should generate compassion. Why you should generate compassion? Now, this stanza, these stanzas showing the exactly reason why you should generate compassion towards that person. Because the fact is you are really harming others to letting you harm. That's why it is kind of like a, that person is particularly that person is becomes the your proper object to generate the compassion and loving kindness. That's the reason. Another here through this three stanza, within this three stanza, we can also understand in Mahayana why it is saying that when someone cause harm to you, instead of anger, you should generate compassion, loving kindness and compassion. Why? Because of this now. This is the reason behind. Therefore, they urging, they recommending strongly that person who is trying to practice Mahayana path or the Bodhisattva's way of life. And then if you want to practice this path, then you should do this instead of kind of like an anger. Even instead of just being the neutral, that be positive to others, kind of like a little bit of like they're suggesting to be optimistic, isn't it? This is a little bit of recommending to be optimistic to any kind of situations, any kind of difficulties. We should try to be optimistic. Okay, anyway, so with this now, that is another idea, skills that you should think this way when you get harm from others. That the fact you really harming others, they really benefiting you. When you have that settled mind, and that settled mind will going to help us to able to practice this, the patience of not caring about harmers. Okay, so that's the one, the sixth idea. And then now the last one, the seventh idea by this another next two stanza. Kalte tala sambai yenten yena nyalmidro. Kalte tagi dasuna teda la drichishikchung. When they lend to neshena teda sunwar majula dagi cheba nyambarju tena katupshikbarjurus. So if a patient quality of mind is mine, I shall avoid the pain of hell. But though indeed I save myself, what of my foes? What facts in store for them? If I repay them harm for harm, indeed they will not be saved thereby. My conduct will in turn be marred. Is it marred? Marred. And then austerity of patience brought to nothing. So this translation, okay, let me read in here Tibetan, then let me try to explain a little bit based on this one. Kalte dala sambai is that if I have some sort of like a skillful mind, the quality mind, which means the patient, okay, here mainly the patient. If I have some sort of like a quality of mind of the patient, then when someone causes harm to oneself, then they utilize that quality of mind, patient. By utilizing that quality of mind, patient, what it helps or what it prevents, it will going to prevent myself to go to hell. So which means that means that I am protecting myself. If I am protecting myself in this way, if I am protecting myself in this way by applying this quality of mind, which is patient, and I will going to protect myself and I will going to prevent to go to hell. And by doing this practice patient, and then what it could happen to them, actually it could happen to them so great if one able to do this practice patient at that moment. How? That the in a one hand, that it is what Shantideva was saying, this stanza is that if you able to apply this patience when someone harmed you, the fact is you are protecting yourself. And what is really that you are losing? And then what is really they are getting it by you practicing patience? This is one way that we can understand this stanza. But not just that, deep inside, this stanza also can let us understand that, okay, how to say, that person who already harmed to you out of their anger, they already kind of like created some bad karma or a negative karma for themselves by letting generate the anger and then kind of like an actual, kind of like doing the action to harm to me. That person already created some bad karmas for themselves. Okay, themselves. This is something unavoidable because he already generated anger, he already caused harm to me. This is unavoidable. I cannot help with it. This is what it is talking about. That how it says, what of my force, what fact in store for them? So that's how they translate it, but I don't know how this is exactly. At that very moment when you practice, when you apply patience, and what they will going to get it. What they will going to get it, one hand, that yes, it is, they will not going to get anything. They already did it. We cannot avoid what they did it already. But at that very moment, if I able to practice patience instead of responding back, if I just step back, and then think carefully, and then kind of like a deal in a skillful way, or just accept it and walk away. Okay? Or just accept it and walk away. That means kind of like I'm applying patience at that moment. If I do this, I'm helping that other person. What they really get is, because I didn't respond. When I didn't respond, they don't have chances to respond back again, which means I prevented them to create a next negative karma. The first one is already complete. First one, that person already did some bad actions to me, which the consequences of that action, it is unavoidable. Yeah, it is unavoidable, or kind of like it is something like a Doktumeba. There's another one word, it is better than that. Doktumeba. I couldn't remember that word. That word is much better. But unavoidable is also understandable. That helps us to understand too. Indestructible. No, not indestructible. There's one interesting word. Huh? No. It is unavoidable, meaning same meaning, unavoidable. Okay, anyway, so that word is very I feel when I say this word, that word gives some sense. Sometimes these words are kind of like gives some better sense. Anyway, so that's how, okay, that's how we could help them by not to kind of like responding back. Here, what it says, like a kind of like a, what they said, where is that stanza? 50. I should avoid the pain of hell, but through indeed I self myself, what of my force get? Okay, so that's how, okay, anyway, so the point is, that's how when I get harm from others, that consequences is something unavoidable. But practicing patience at that moment and then not responding back in the same way, that they will also get benefit to not to create next again karma. You get it? That's the point, okay? And then the next stanza going together. When they lend donations. So now this next one, if I repay them harm for harm, okay, now I'm responding. Instead of applying patience, I'm responding. If I, when they, on the other hand, if I respond for harm for harm, okay, to the others, those who are majulas, and then I am failed to protect those, the other person, that whoever, I fail to protect them because they will going to create another karma, another bad karma to create problem, respond back to me, right? And then I respond. And this is how the war is not ending, like those Second World War, First World War, whatever we have, those big world war. It is start with the very tiny, small, and then they respond harm for harm, and then other one harm for harm. They harm for harm, harm for harm, harm for harm, and then it becomes world war. So if you, how to say that, now the next one it is saying, if I respond for my harm for harm, then I will going to be fail to protect them. That's what it means. That's sumar majurla. Not only fail to protect them, but also but also I kind of like a transgressed my conduct of bodhisattvas. I also kind of like a destroyed or transgressed. Nyam is that one, destroyed or transgressed. Choba is the conduct. That after receiving this bodhisattva's vow, my conduct should be in a bodhisattva's way. We should try our best to do it in a bodhisattva's way. By doing this way, that harm, responding harm for harm, means I fail to protect them as well as I destroyed my own manner, my own conduct, or my own bodhisattva's vow as well. So if you do that, then this also this katup, the austerity, and that's how they say austerity of patience brought to nothing. Here they just say brought to nothing. It is not brought to nothing. It is completely destroyed. Shiparjur means that you transgressed your bodhisattva's vow. That's what it means saying. If you respond harm for harm, then you fail to protect others as well as you fail to protect yourself as well. And then plus you transgress your this austerity of bodhisattva's vow that which you are trying to implement. That is also going to be diminished completely. That's what it means. Anyway, so now here, okay, here I'm doing like Donald Trump. Here we just easy. Here, kind of like within this category, third category of how to practice patience, the patient of not caring for humders, the patient of not caring humders. Its whole has this 7 different skills to how to implement, how to practice the patient of not carrying humders. So we completed. So with that, we completed the most difficultiest one to practice patient, which is the pain among the 4 situations which we described before, right? If we summarize, it becomes 4. If we little elaborate, it becomes 12. It will more elaborate, it becomes 24. If we further elaborate, it becomes 72 situations which let us get anger, right? If we condense all those 72 situations, and then we can condense within these 4 situations, which is here in this text, how they translate it: pain, humiliation, insult, rebuke. And sometimes I used to say suffering, right? Difficulties or suffering. Sometimes I use both, either difficulties or suffering, suffer. Suffer, okay, let's say suffer, and then disdain, and then harsh word, and then unpleasant word. Unpleasant word. So these are the main 4 situations, or the main 4 circumstances when it occurs to oneself. And then we generate this sense of dislike, which means then after dislike, hatred, and after hate, anger. So these emotions comes once after another, very quick way, but actually it is order. So we don't just get anger that easily. Actually, we feel anger is getting within a second. Yes, it is within a second. We can say these emotions are so fast. Actually, before hate, there's no anger. The anger brought it by hated. Hated brought it by dislike. And dislike brought it by those kind of circumstances, that when you have a pain, when you get disdain, when you get harsh word from others, when you get unpleasant word or message from others, then we generate dislike, and dislike after hated anger. But these are so quick, it's very instant, one after another arising. Anyway, so with this, now we complete the first most difficulties to practice patience, which is pain or the suffer, which is related with the both mental and physical. Yes, that's why this is the most difficultiest one. Therefore, Shantideva here to how to practice patience while you having this pain or suffer, and he gave it this tons of skills or methods until now. Within this last category, there are 7 different skills, right? And then before that, the patient of certainty in Dharma, in that category, he also gave mainly 2 skills. And then before that, he gave this one, the patient of accepting suffer, or the patient of undertaking suffer pain, and how to do that. There are also almost like 7 or 8 different skills that he provided. So you see, but as I'm again reminding you one more time, that one skill is enough if you very firm determination that, okay, anger is something I should get rid of. If you have this firm, then all this, you don't need so many skills. One skills, whichever suitable, it's good enough. And then just apply that with any kind of situations. Okay, so we'll stop here. And now we have also a little bit more than 10 minutes. So if you have question, we can discuss. Anyone, if you have question, you can unmute yourself and then speak up. Oh, now maybe no question. Everybody understood properly. Seems like, huh? Leslie,
Yes.
you don't have a question?
No, this was good.
Okay. Yeah, that's good then. You can mute then.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Ani has a question, but you may not going to hear Ani's voice.
Just for the sake of the question.
Uh-huh.
It stands at 47.
Uh-huh.
And stands at 50.
Stanza 47 and
stanza
50. Okay.
How do because we bring about the ruin of others because of that past karma.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last line of stanza 50.
Mm-hmm.
How does that fits? When it says, "What of my foes? What fate's in store for them?"
Yeah, so here indirectly it is saying nothing they will going to store, only the bad karma.
But if they've helped us, if they've been our true benefactor.
No. They are true benefactor, but they don't have that sense to benefit you. They have that sense to harm you. That's their unfortunate. If they're doing this harm to you with the sense of benefit, then yes, definitely. Just like a marpa. Marpa is tormenting Milarepa. Oh, terrible. But he is doing this with the sense of benefit to him, because he did a lot of nonsense things before he entered into the path. Right? So he have very strong negative karma. So he want him to purify it, cleanse them. Therefore, he's kind of like an outlook. He is punishing him or giving hard time. Very difficult. Unreasonably, unrationally letting him build something which is very useless, unnecessary. But normal people, that when we harm each other, we don't have that sense, right? So that's unfortunately of that harmer. If the harmer able to maintain that sense, then yeah, that's good. They do what they want, and then at the same time they get a good karma. They're a little bit what? of benefit to them. That's all completely depend on their intention. That's why you see, when you goes to the karma, you see, that's why this karma. Okay, so maybe I should talk a little bit more about karma here. We can relate it with this topic, since now Shantideva is also talking about here. He's assuming that all of us listener has this background, foundation of understanding karma. Because the karma is completely, when it goes back, okay, so the karma is general. So the karma has three types: negative, positive, neutral. And then the creator of karma, this negative, positive, neutral creator of karma, it also has the three: body, speech, and mind, physical, verbal, and mental, right? Either we say body, speech, mind, or physical, verbal, mental, same. So this is the something product, and this is producer, right? Our physical, verbal, mental is producer, and this producer, what will going to be product is bad, neutral, and good. Three. That's the when we go to the when we scrutinize about karma, it boils down into here. It comes to end. Like this is now getting deep inside the karma. And then even when we go further, then it goes to here. This producer is the main important, not the product. If there's no producer, product is nothing. Product cannot do anything, right? So this producer, then it goes to producer. Forget about the product now. And then it goes to the producer. But forget does not mean completely. It related, yeah. So now, and then these three are the producer. Okay, now, even when we scrutinize and deep focus, who is really responsible among these three producers? Then these two, physical and verbal, mental is the responsible for both of these two. Mental is responsible for this. Mental is the one now goes to single producer. There's no three producer now. When you go deep into scrutinize, then there's only one producer. Only mental. Mental is the main producer. And then physical and verbal is their right hand and left hand. The mental's right hand and left hand. So the mental is the core producer. So the mental is the one who decide what my actions wants to be, what my actions wants to be, wants to belong, good, bad, or neutral. Mental will going to decide. See, so the mental, that person who is humming in their mind, if they don't have this sense of, okay, maybe this will going to be some lessons to him or her, so him or her can learn something from this difficulties. If Hammer has that intention, then this physical and verbal tormenting, giving difficult, it's okay. When we say it's okay, also we need to be careful too. Sometimes people get misunderstand. Oh, that's very dangerous too. But in fact, it is okay. Yes, I can say it is okay if you genuinely have this core producer pure. If you have this core producer pure, then this right and left hand producer, it's not really important. And left and right producer will going to do what the core producer ordered. Okay, so maybe now time is up. We do dedication together and then we rest. Okay, that's the book. Sonam de tamje zikpa ni tomne ni ben danam pamje ne shiga nanje walan chupai sibin zolen rowan rovar shu jambal bawe jidra kemba na kundu zambu te yan te shin te da kunji jesu ndalo chi gewan de dan tamje rabdu mo Gewan di shivu kun sunam yeshe chozo ne sunam yeshe le jungwe tamba kunyi tobar shu sanje kusum nyebe chenlam da chunyi minjurun dembe chenlam da gendin meche dembe chenlam jidara muwa melam dobar shu. Read in English. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished the harmful enemy, greed, anger, delusion, may I liberate all being tossed about helplessly by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous Manjushri, Jambal Yang, and in the same way as Samandabhadra, Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue, may all being perfectly achieve the accumulation of merit, sonam, and wisdom, yeshe, and may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies which result from these two accumulations. By the blessing of the Buddha, Sangye, who attained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmata, Chuni, by the blessing of the infallible aspiration of the Sangha, Gendin, may this prayer of dedication be accomplished just as it is. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good rest, everybody, and see you later. Tonight we have, what do you call it? Dakini folk.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Leave.
下午是还有讲啊，我刚刚没听他那个，我在 focus。好像是愤怒莲师吧？下午我们是不是要修那个金刚铠甲？那个金刚铠甲2点半，好像是2点半吧？啊，好像是2点半，对。但是我就是这个，你说。